Do you want to build a home golf simulator without wasting any of your time and money? Well, 5 years ago, I botched up 3 key components in my first golf simulator. So stick around to learn what I got horribly wrong and how you can avoid making those same mistakes. And if you'd like a complete step-by-step guide how to build a home golf simulator without making any mistakes at all, then check out the links in the description below. Now, there's nothing more unprofessional in a golf simulator than a scruffy impact screen. And that's exactly what I used to have in my old setup. And it was only when I built my new one that I realized all of the mistakes that I've been making. Now, in my old setup, I had an impact screen that was too big for my space, which was absolutely fine. And it was raw material, so it didn't have any pre-punched grommet holes in there. Although this was fantastic for getting me started with a golf simulator and getting me hitting balls at home and working on improving my game, it was still a bit tatty. And the way that I hung this was I had some wire rope that I got off Amazon and I'd attached it to either side wall in my garage, and then I basically hung the impact screen over the top of this wire rope, held it in place with some tarp clips, and then along the side walls I attached some bungee cords and tarp clips, and I could adjust them to get the tension. Now, this was amazing, I thought. Like I said, it was getting me hitting balls in the comfort of my own home, playing virtual courses, and yes, it's a very good and effective, cost-effective way of doing it. However, over a certain amount of time, the weight of the impact screen caused that wire rope to start sagging, and then because I had tarp clips and bungee cords basically giving the screen the tension, after lots of impact, those bungee cords started to sag as well, and then all of a sudden I had a scruffy golf simulator setup. Now, after a while, I started speaking to some professional golf simulator installation companies, and they taught me the professional way to hang your impact screen. And this made a massive difference in my old setup, and of course I transferred this technique over to my new setup as well. So basically, if you're doing a wall-to-wall build, which is like what I've had in both of my golf simulator setups, along the side walls you need to install some metal galvanized slotted angle. Now, you put that along the side walls and along the ceiling. And probably one of the best investments in a golf simulator is getting an impact screen that is fitted to the size of your room or your space. And if you get a professionally fitted impact screen, like this one that I've got from Golf Swing Systems now, it comes with the grommet holes already pre-punched. It comes with some heavy duty Velcro already attached to the sides and the top of the impact screen. And the way that you hang it, rather than using the bungee cords, is by using zip ties or cable ties. Now, I used to think that this wouldn't be a very good way of hanging an impact screen. However, they're very easy to adjust and get the right tension, and they don't start to sag after a certain amount of time, which basically keeps your impact screen looking professional all of the time. Now, the alternative to doing this and buying a separate impact screen and hanging it yourself is by getting a ready-made, pre-built DIY enclosure. Now, although these are fantastic and very convenient, they can be a little more pricey because you're paying for that convenience. In my personal opinion, I don't think they look as good or as professional as the wall-to-wall golf simulator style. Now, imagine you've just got your home golf simulator built and you have just invited your friends over and you are so excited to show them how cool this is, and then they walk in the door and all of a sudden they are completely underwhelmed. That's pretty much what happened to me. So this next component will basically make or break the immersiveness of your golf simulator, and it's your projector. Now, my first projector was a cheap second-hand projector off of eBay. It was a 1080p low lumens standard throw projector, and it cast, looking back on it actually, it cast a really poor quality faded image, and it also cast some shadows onto the impact screen whilst I was playing. Now, at the time, didn't bother me at all, because I had what I felt was an amazingly immersive home golf simulator experience, and I'd done it on a budget, and no, there was nothing wrong with it. However, it's only when you start to understand what you can get and what it can look like when you realize the sort of mistakes that you're making. Now, I eventually upgraded my projector to a much more expensive and better quality projector, and honestly, I can't describe the thoughts and feelings that I had when I installed that new projector. I'll actually show you the video, right? I'll show you the video of my reaction when I installed the projector, because it was unbelievable. Please just look at the quality of this projector. Honestly, I can't get over it. I really hope that this camera is doing this image justice, because I cannot tell you how happy I am with this projected image. I mean, I didn't even think it was possible to get an image this good. Now, this new projector was now a short throw projector with much higher brightness and lumens rating. It had amazing colors, and it was a much more vibrant picture that I was getting, and it ultimately led to a more immersive experience. Now, this was a 1080p projector, and it was only when I built this new simulator room that I upgraded my projector again to a 4K projector with even higher lumen rating. And honestly, once I loaded up GS Pro, the golf simulator software, I couldn't believe the difference in picture quality. It was so good. Now, little disclaimer, getting a 4K setup in your golf simulator is definitely a luxury item. It's expensive. If you want to save a little bit of money, stick with 1080p, and it will still give you a superb home golf simulator experience. Only go 4K if you're after that luxury item. Now, unfortunately, projectors do come at a cost, right? But I always tell people in my consultations and when I'm speaking to them, you should think of your projector as either the first or the second most expensive item in your home golf simulator setup, somewhere along the same price as your launch monitor, depending which launch monitor you're getting, obviously. They aren't cheap. So if you want to get a good one, you're going to probably have to fork out around about £2,000. If you want to do it cheaper, then definitely get onto eBay or Facebook Marketplace and type in the brand and model of a projector that's being sold by these golf simulator reseller companies, and you'll be able to save yourself a ton of money doing it that way. But yeah, definitely look at your projector as a very important part of your golf simulator setup, and like I say, one of the more expensive components in there as well. A golf simulator will never be as accurate as real life outdoor golf if you don't get this component right. Now, I'm talking about the hitting mat. Now, my first mat in my golf simulator setup that I was hitting off was extremely cheap. It was old, it was worn down, it was thin, it was firm and hard to hit off, and it was very unrealistic because anytime I hit a fat shot, the golf club would bounce off the mat and strike the ball at a very similar club speed, and I wouldn't lose any distance showing up on the launch monitor software. However, when I upgraded to a much better quality hitting mat, the one that I've got is called T-Turf from Golf Swing Systems, I had a completely different experience in my golf simulator. Now, the T-Turf is a much thicker pile. It feels and looks a lot more like real grass. You can feel like you can take a divot and strike down on the ball when you're hitting your irons and your wedges, and it even punishes fat shots. So if I hit a shot a couple of centimeters behind the ball, it will show up on the golf simulator software or the launch monitor software that I have hit that shot with a lot less distance. Now, again, you can pick up some cheap hitting mats off of Amazon to get yourself started, and yes, they will do a job. However, please be careful, because a lot of these cheap hitting mats that are thin and firm, they can cause you some wrist and elbow pain over extended usage periods of time. So yeah, it's much more beneficial for you to spend a little bit more money, get a more expensive, specifically designed hitting mat for indoor golf, because yeah, it's going to give you a much more realistic experience, and it's also going to stop you from getting injured. Now I'm going to give you a little bit of a bonus tip here, and it's a bit of a money saving tip as well. So when you've got a gaming PC hooked up to your golf simulator, then you don't have to buy a PC monitor to connect up to your PC. You can just connect a standard television. As long as it's got a HDMI port, you're going to be absolutely fine, and it works exactly the same, and it even gives you a better image on some instances. But yeah, this is the point of this story. So I wanted to save a little bit of money. So rather than buying a PC monitor, I wanted to buy a 32-inch TV. I didn't want to spend a few £100s on it. I wanted to get a second-hand one. So I got one off somebody that I worked with at the time, hooked it up to my PC, and I was thinking, wow, this is going to be amazing. And then when I got GS Pro hooked up, I realized that the image that I was getting on my TV was pretty poor. And then after a little bit of time, I realized that the TV that I bought was a 720p non-HD TV. So yeah, I was losing so much graphics quality, because GS Pro is fantastic for its graphics, but displaying on the TV was not a good image at all. So I would highly recommend to you, if you do want to save a little bit of money, get a second-hand TV, but make sure it's at least 1080p HD. Even better, get a 4K one, maybe future-proof yourself a little bit. You can pick them up for a reasonable price now, second-hand, I'm sure. Yeah, so don't make that mistake that I made, because I effectively wasted like 30 quid and should have just got a HD telly. So there are a few mistakes that I made when I built my first home golf simulator, and hopefully you've now learned how to not make those mistakes yourself. Now, if you want a little bit more information about how to build a home golf simulator from scratch, step by step, then like I mentioned at the start of the video, I have some links in the description to my online course, and it basically walks you through absolutely everything that you need to know about every single component involved within a golf simulator, and how to set it up step by step to save yourself a load of time, but also a load of money as well.